Raja Prithu, a great king called Prithu Maharaj. This earth was in terrible sinful life was going on here. The earth withdrew all her vegetables and nutrition. People started to starve because no yajna was being performed. Bhagwan took the form of Maharaj Prithu, and he came and resuscitated the idea of performing yajna, and the fertility of the earth was restored. And once again, the earth gave forth nutritious vegetables and grains for mankind to subsist with. Rupam sa jagrahe matsyam chakshodhodasi salplaveha navyarugyaha mahimabhyam padve vaswatam manum. The next one, the 10th one, Matsya Avatar. Bhagwan took the form of a great fish, and he pulled the boat that was carrying the Saptarishi during the great devastation of water. So many devastations will take place in the history of the world. Most of them will take place at various intervals, and the destruction will come by water. So we are seeing sometimes when the earth trembles, the tsunamis come. But this deluge is much greater than any tsunami known to us in this lifetime, and the earth is covered with water. It is at this point in time that Bhagwan wants to protect the pious, and he took the form of Matsya. Sura Suranamaha Muddidham Matnataha Mandarachalam Dhadre Kamatharupena Prishta Ekadasho Vibuhu. The next one was Kachapa Avatar. When the ocean was being churned by the Danavs and the Surs, the Devas, and all kinds of beautiful things and terrible things emerged from that churning. In order to churn, they needed a base, a support, and Bhagwan took the form of this divine tortoise so that all of these things could happen. Dhanvantaram dvadashamam trayodasham mamevachaha apayayut sururahanayan mohiyan striyaha. Bhagwan appeared as Dhanvantri, Bhagwan Dhanvantri. All the kinds of medicine in this world is attributed to the Bhagwan Dhanvantri. And Dhanvantri Bhagwan also appeared from this churning with the nectar of immortality for the Devas. Chatushtasam Narasingham Vibredhyetyaha Andraha Murchitam Dadhara Karajir Vakshe Sarakaram Katha Kridhyataham. The next one was Mohini. Heard of Mohini? Vishwa Mohini. So now the nectar has been brought out from the ocean to give immortality. And the Asurs, the demons, wanted to steal it from the Devas. So Bhagwan took the form of Mohini. With bells on the feet, she danced in a manner and she captured the minds of the Asurs. They started to follow her. And then she took something else and gave them to drink. What was it called? Madira. See what I told you earlier? Who is the alcohol meant for? The demoniac beings. Others consume nectar. Here, nectar is flowing from all the things you see here. This is the nectar. This is what you are supposed to consume. Then the verse I read was about Bhagwan Narsingh. All of you know about Narsingh Bhagwan. Boli Narsingh Bhagwan ki Panchadashaham Vamanakaham Kritva Gadadvaram Baleha Padaha Trayam Yachamanaha Pratyaditru Sri Vishtapam. Next one was Bhagwan Vaman. He took the form of a dwarf, a young Brahmin dwarf, and he Raja Bali, who was becoming too powerful. Vaman Bhagwan came there, and what did he? Raja Bali in his pride said, "What is it that you want? Ask for anything, I'll give it to you. I'll give you a promise, a province, I'll give you a country. What is it you want?" Vaman Bhagwan says, "I want 3 steps only. 3 steps of land so that I can put my kutia and do tapasya." Raja Bali started to laugh. That's all you want? So small feet you got, and still you only want 3 pieces of land, 3 steps of land? Vaman Bhagwan said, I'm a simple Brahmin, that is all I wanted. Raja Bali did the sankalp. Bhagwan said, took the first step. He covered all the regions above the earth. Took the second step. He covered all the regions below the earth. He says to Raja Bali, in your arrogance, you gave me 3 steps. Where shall I take the third step? I have covered everything. Raja Bali thought about it. He said, my promise to put it on my head. So that is how the term Bali came about. From Raja Bali. He gave his own life. He was prepared to offer his life to Bhagwan, not some other creature's life, not somebody else's life. So Balidan comes from the Raja Bali, where you surrender to Bhagwan, not take somebody else's life, which doesn't belong to you. Nobody else's life belongs to you except your own. See? Next one. Avatare Shodashe Pashyan Braha Druho Nrpanah Triha Sapta Kritavaha Kapitonihi Kshatraha Marog Man Mahimaham. Bhagwan Parshuram. All of you read about Bhagwan Parshuram in Ramcharitmanas. When the rulers of the earth became too corrupt and they refused to listen to any kind of logic, force was required. Then Bhagwan Parshuram came. Parshuram comes from the term Parsha. He had a divine axe. With that, he rid the earth of the Kshatriyas. See, Kshatriyas are the ruling class, the people who are qualified to rule, who are strong physically and mentally, who accept that wise and learned Brahmins must give them good counsel. They will then execute those instructions. When the Kshatriyas refuse to listen to good counsel and only do things for their own greed, then Bhagwan will displace them. It takes time. There must be patience, but that is what will eventually happen. We are now going to do the 17th one. Katha sapta dasho jatah Vyasdevji. If you look at all the Vedas were categorized by Bhagwan Vyasji, 18 Puranas, Upanishads, etc., etc., which you can hold that kind of information in his mind. So Bhagavad Vyasji is considered to be an avatar, a divine being. Nara devata mapannah surakarya chikirshayah samudra nigrahadinihi to mankind, reminded us of how we should be living. He crossed the ocean and he destroyed the powerful Ravan, the 10-headed Ravan. Boli Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai. Ekoni vimshe vanshitah Vishnusho prapya janmani Ramakrishna viti bhuvoho Bhagavan harad bharam. Bhagwan Balram Halayudam, the one who carries a plow as his weapon, he is the one that came before Bhagwan Sri Krishna, isn't it? Elder brother of Bhagwan Sri Krishna. When Bhagwan came as Sri Ram, everything that he told Lakshman, Lakshman listened to him. When Lakshman wanted to fight with everyone, Ram used to speak, Lakshman used to keep quiet. After that, he told Bhagwan, see, you were the elder brother. When we go back next, I'm going to be the elder brother and I will show those people that were mocking you. See? So when they came back, Lakshmanji took the form of Balram. Tatah kalo sampravritteha sammoya suridvishamaha Buddho namna janaka sutaha kikatetuhu bhavishyati. Bhagwan Sri Krishna came, and of course he gave us, he organized the Mahabharata for our entertainment, and he gave us the nectar of Bhagavad Gita. Then came Buddha avatar, who came when, at a time when the earth, people were only engaged in sacrifices, killing of animals, etc., unnecessarily to become powerful. Buddha avatar came and said, stop all this violence. This is not coming from God. Somebody has misled you. Stop this violence immediately. This Bhagwan Buddha was therefore an emissary of peace. Atha soho yuga sandhyayam dasyuhu prayeshu rajasuha jannataha Vishnu yashoho namna kalki jagatpatihi. The next one has not come yet. Bhagwan Kalki, it says, will appear in the home of a person called Vishnu Yasha at the end, towards the end of the Kali Yuga. Boliye Kalki Bhagavan ki jai. For those of you who know the Mata Vaishno Devi Katha, Mata Vaishno Devi met Prabhu Shri Ram, and she says, I am a manifestation of Lakshmi, you must marry me. He says, no, I already married your other manifestation, Sita. And in this life, I took a vow, I'll only marry one. She says, then when will you marry me? Because I am her Ansh, I am part of her. He said, you go to the Trikuta Parvat, Katra, and you do tapasya there. When I come as Kalki, I will get married to you. Bolye Mata Vaishno Devi ki jai. Bolye Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. So the Lord manifests in endless number of forms to suit all occasions. This is to perpetuate the fact that God pervades everything. God is in the sky, the earth, the water, the air, the space, the tree, the river, the mountain, and in all beings. Understanding this, we worship almost everything. If you go to India, you do a tour of Vrindavan, you think something's wrong with these people. They'll show you two trees growing close to each other. They'll tell you, see this tree here, this is Radha and this is Krishna. And they'll take one cloth and tie it around them and say, see, we got them married. This is them. They'll show you one rock with a footprint, like mark on it. They'll tell you this is Bhagavan Krishna's footprint. This is Vishnupad. They'll show you one tree that has a root that is protruding. They'll tell you that's Ganeshji's trunk. They'll take you to Kailash. They'll tell you this is the intergalaxy airport. And sometimes we laugh. But in reality, they are seeing God in the things that are visible to their eyes. What is it that they're seeing every day? The tree, the rock, the mountain, the river, and they are seeing Bhagwan in all of these things. Don't you think they're more self-realized than us? When we look at things, what are we looking for? The imperfections. We're looking for the imperfections when we should be looking for what? The Lord. So talking about the avatars of Bhagwan, in the Garud Puran, they've summarized these avatars down to 10 Dash Maha Avatar. And it says that that person who lying on his deathbed remembers these 10 names of the Lord won't come back to this world. All of you are going to listen carefully now and chant these names with me. Kurmo, Matsya, Varaha, Narasingha, Vaman, Parshuram, Ram, Krishna, Buddha, Kalki, Bolye Nandana Bhagavan ki jai. In the next part that we move on to, after Mahabharata, so many people died. Sukdev ji says, I must now tell you about this great being called Raja Parikshit, who listened to this Bhagwad Katha, waiting for his soul to leave his body. He fasted until his death. Let me tell you about him. When did it start? How did this happen? On the evening of one of the days of battle, Bhagwan Sri Krishna went to the banks of the Ganga and offered water till Anjali in respect of all those who had passed on. What did he do? He offered till Anjali. Today I speak to some Hindus, they say, no, we don't offer tarpan. We don't offer tilanjali. Bhagwan comes here and does it. What made you greater than Bhagwan that you can't offer this? So Bhagwan offered this tilanjali. They were returning from the Ganga. And on his way back, something amazing happened. Sudji says, listen carefully. Uttaravachaha pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagatpate nanyam tvadha bhayam pashye yatra mrityu parasparam abhidravati mamishah sharastastayasoho vibboho kamam dahatu mam natamame garbe nipatyatam. Uttara. Uttara was who? Arjuna's daughter-in-law. She had a child in her womb and she says to Bhagwan Krishna, the Kauravas have lodged a terrible weapon that is coming to destroy my child. Nothing I can see can protect it. Protect this child in my womb. Save this child of mine. And it says that Bhagwan is present in the heart of all beings. So from Uttara's heart, when she focused her mind on him, from her heart, Bhagwan Sri Krishna moved into her womb and covered this child, protected this child. This child was Raja Parikshit. And he was the one who listened to this great Katha called Shrimad Bhagwad Mahapuran. Later on in this text, you are going to listen later on in the week about Raja Parikshit. Now I am going to tell you about the great Bhishma Pitamaha. All of you heard of Bhishma Pitamaha? Bhishma Pitamaha was Ganga Putra. He was the son of Ma Ganga and Raja Shantanu. He took a terrible vow to please his father. He didn't say that he won't get married. He said, I won't even look at a woman directly in her face. And so he remained celibate for his entire life. Bhishma actually means terrible. When Mahabharata was on, Bhagwan Sri Krishna went to the Pandavas and he says, listen, in order for you to win this war, you have to drop Bhishma Pitamaha. If you don't drop him, you are not going to win this war. Because of his penance, of his strength, I'm not fighting. If Bhagwan Sri Krishna was fighting, different story. He said, I'm not fighting. I'm the charioteer. You all are fighting. You all can't defeat him. You all have to find a way to drop him. Sa deva devo Bhagavan pratikshatamaha kulevaram yavadidam hano hinomyaham prasannaha saruna lochanolasaham mukhalambujaho dhyanatah chaturbujah. Bhishma Pitamaha. What Krishna Bhagavan said to them, says, you know, Bhishma, he won't look at a lady. There's a person called Shikandi who is a woman in a man's body. Put him in the front. When Bhishma looks at him and realizes what he did, he'll drop his guard, he'll drop his arrow, he'll drop his weapon, he'll lower his hand because he will not raise his hand to a woman. When he drops his hand, Arjuna, you shoot him. On the 10th day of Mahabharata, Shikandi appeared on the battlefield and Arjuna dropped Bhishma Pitamaha to the ground. But the story doesn't end there. Bhagwan is not wicked. Bhagwan has a plan for everybody. Bhishma Pitamaha was a Vasu, he was a Devata. And through some curse, he had to appear on earth. It was time for him to go back. But look at the manner in which he went back. Lying on his bed of arrows, what did he do? Yudhishthir and the other Pandavas went in his presence. And there he spoke to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra. All of you do Vishnu Sahasranam? So few of you. All of you do Vishnu Sahasranam?
Yes.
Don't wait for somebody's ceremony to do Vishnu Sahasranam. Vishnu Sahasranam should be performed as often as possible. Let us see why. Let's see what Bhishma Pitamaha said to Yudhishthir Maharaj. Jagat Prabhum Deva Devam Anantam Purushottamam Stuvannama Sahasrena Purusho Sattatottitaha Tameva Charyaya Nityaham Bhaktya Purusham Avyayam Dhyayan Stuvannama Syanscha Yajmanastameva Cha Anadinidanam Vishnu Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Lokadhyaksham Stuvan Nityam Sarvadukadiko Bhavet. Bhishma Pitamaha says, Yudhishthir says to him, who should I worship? Who is the best of all beings? Oh Bhishma Pitamaha, you are the grandsire of our Kul. There is nobody more elder than you. There's nobody more learned than you, Bhishma Pitamaha. You are lying on your deathbed. Give us the secrets. Bhishma Pitamaha says, worship that Purush with endless devotion. Chant 1,000 names of He who is the Lord of the universe, who is the God of all gods, who is limitless. He will get you free from the bondages of life. Chant the names of Bhagwan Vishnu. When I go to people's puja sometimes, Havan is on, people are going louder than the names of Bhagwan Vishnu. And look at what Bhishma Pitamaha is saying. He is saying, listen, you need to chant the names of Vishnu. And we have people who are coming and distorting the names of Vishnu. Who distorts the names of Vishnu? Only the Asurs. You and I are not Asurs. Never ever distort the names of Bhagwan Vishnu. So Bhishma Pitamaha was laying on his bed of arrows and he was waiting for two things to happen. His father gave him a boon and said, your soul will only leave your body when you choose for it to leave. That is the blessing I give you. Katha astu. Bhishma Pitamaha laying there, he said, I will wait for the sun to move from Dakshinayan into Uttarayan. When the earth is seeing the sun stronger in the southern hemisphere, I won't leave. I'll wait for it to go into the north. All of you heard of Makar Sankranti? On that day, Bhishma Pitamaha said, few more days I'll lie here on this bed of arrows. I'm a Kshatriya. I'm not worried about pain. Let these arrows poke me. On that day, I will leave my body. But that's not the only condition. The other reason, the other thing that must happen is that I must see the face of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Although I stood on the wrong side of the battlefield because of performing my duty, I am dedicated to Him and Him alone. He is the one that I want to see. When I see Him, then I will go. Eventually, as the sun was moving into Uttarayan, Bhagavan Sri Krishna came into the presence of Bhishma Pitamaha. On his bed of arrows, Bhishma Pitamaha sang a beautiful stuti to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. This is called a moksha stuti, because at the end of the stuti, Bhishma Pitamaha's Atma left his body and he went directly to the Vaikuntha Lok, to the abode of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. So Bhishma stuti is a moksha stuti. All of us should sing these beautiful praises of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Iti mati rupa kalpita vitrishna Bhagavati satvata pungave vibhumi Swasukamupagate kvachidihatum Prakritimupeyushi yad bhava pravara Tribhuvana kamanam tamhal varnam Ravikara gauravarambaram dadhane Vapuralaka kula vritananabjam Vijaya sakera tirastu me navadhya. So Bhishma Pitamaha sang this beautiful stuti to Bhagavan Sri Krishna. And as he completed singing this stuti, his Atma left his body. I don't have time to explain these verses to you today. In order to complete what I have set out to do today, I'm going to take you on to the next part um, of the Bhagavatam now, which is called Chatushlokihi Bhagavat. So these verses that have been recorded here by Rishi Vedyasji have been, how did it reach us? How did we get all of this information? So shortly after Bhagwan Sri Krishna left the earth, Vedyasji compiled the Vedas, and after compiling the 4 Vedas, categorizing them, etc., he was very disappointed. He was not satisfied with what he did. He felt something was missing. So he goes to Narad Muni. We have now entered the realm of the 2nd canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam. He goes to Narad Muni and he says to Narad Muni, something is not right. Narad Muni says, why are you looking like this? Why are you in this depressed state? Vyasdevji said, I've written all about this supreme consciousness that people talk about, Bhagwan's manifestation as nature, etc., etc. But I feel I have missed something. Narad Muni said to him, for the delight of all devotees, you must write Shrimad Bhagavatam. You must write about the pastimes of Sri Krishna. This is what you need to do. So Narad Muni said to him, you need to start off with the 4 original verses that were given to mankind by Bhagwan himself. Bhagwan gave these 4 verses to Brahmaji. Brahmaji gave it to the 4 Kumars. The 4 Kumars gave it to Narad Muni. Narad Muni gave it to Vyas. Vyas gave it to Sukdevji Maharaj. Sukdevji Maharaj gave it to Sutji Maharaj. Sutji Maharaj gave it to many rishis and munis. And today, Durban Hindu Temple is giving you these 4 verses. Bolye Bhaktavatsala Bhagavan ki jai. I want all of you to put your hands together, join your hands, while we recite these 4 verses that came from the Bhagwan, Shri Mukha of Bhagwan, from the mouth of the Lord himself. Aham eva samevagre nanyat yat sada sata param yaschadaham yadde tachah yovashishyeta sosyaham ritertham yat pratiyeta na pritiyeta chatmani tadvidyat samanoho mayam yata bhaso yata tamah yata mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chaha cheshvanuh pravishtanya pravishtani tatha teshu nateshvaham etavadeva jigyasyam tattva vidyaya sunatmanah anvayavyati hekabhyam Yatsyat sarvatra sarvada. These verses were spoken, impregnated into Brahmaji before he created the world. With these 4 verses, Brahmaji was now empowered to create the world. What is the meaning of these verses? Bhagwan says to Brahmaji, only I existed before creation. Besides me, there was nothing else, either manifest or unmanifest. I am all which is visible. Whatever remains after annihilation is also me. Besides me, whatever appears to be substantial has not reality in itself. It is by me that it exists and will cease to exist. It will merge back into me. It is my Maya that causes one to think anything other than this. The 5 main elements pervade everything. Yet this universe exists without them. Since I pervade everything too, I can exist without all of this. Yet they cannot exist without me. A person willing to know the truth should know that whatever exists eternally and everywhere, during the creation and the annihilation, is the ultimate truth. In other words, if you realize that Nothing is possible without God. Nothing exists without God. Where do we get pride from? Why are we trying to enjoy something which is temporary, which is only going to give us pain, when we should be focusing our minds on the Supreme Lord? Taking these 4 verses, Vyasdev ji meditated upon it. And then he started to write about the creation, how he created the world, how he created all the great beings, how Bhagwan's avatars came about. And eventually in the 10th canto, which you will hear later on in the week, he talks about Bhagwan Sri Krishna avatar. That supreme consciousness which we are talking about takes a form for the love of his devotees. Chaturbhuja, Shama Sundar, Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Bolye Nanda Nandana Bhagavan ki jai. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari. He Nath Nara. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare. Krishna Govinda Boli Krishna Kanhaiya Lal ki jai. One more bhajan, then we'll have Aarti. देखो देखो ये गरीबी, ये गरीबी का हाल, कृष्ण के दर पे विश्वास लेके आया हूँ। मेरे बचपन का यार है मेरा शान, यही सोच कर मैं आस करके आया हूँ। अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो, अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया से कह दो, के दर पे सुदामा न सर पे है पगड़ी, न तन पे है जाना, बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा। बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा। न सर पे है पगड़ी, न तन पे है जाना, बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा। न सर पे है पगड़ी, न तन पे है जाना, बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा। बता दो कन्हैया को नाम है सुदामा। बार मोहन सिद्धा करके कह दो, एक बार मोहन सिद्धा करके कह दो, मिल सका पत्र नसीबा गया है, मिल सका पत्र नसीबा गया है। अरे बार मेरा से कह दो के घर पे सुदामा कभी बा गया है, के घर पे सुदामा कभी बा गया है। उनके हिदायत चले आए मोहन, लगाया गले से सुदामा तुम्हें, लगाया गले से सुदामा तुम्हें, सुनते ही दौड़े चले आए मोहन, लगाया गले से सुदामा तुम्हें, चले आए मोहन, लगाया गले से सुदामा तुम्हें, लगाया गले से सुदामा तुम्हें। दूसरा दुश्मनी को बहुत ही चंदा, हुआ दुश्मनी को बहुत ही चंदा, ऐसा अजीब का कैसा है, ऐसा अजीब बात है। अरे में अपने सुदामा दिखाए, करन आसमान से सामने बुलाए, करन आसमान से सामने बुलाए, में अपने सुदामा दिखाए, चरण आंसुओं से सामने बुलाए हरा, चरण आंसुओं से सामने बुलाए, बराबर में अपने सुदामा बैठाए, चरण आंसुओं से सामने बुलाए, बराबर में अपने सुदामा बैठाए, चरण आंसुओं से सामने बुलाए हरा, चरण आंसुओं से सामने बुलाए, न घबराओ प्यारे रहा तुम सुदामा, न घबराओ प्यारे रहा तुम सुदामा, खुशी का समा पाके खुशी का गया है, खुशी का समा पाके खुशी का गया, अबे द्वार पालो अरे द्वार पालो कन्हैया करके सजा, अभी बस गया Bole Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. Dear brothers and sisters, we are about to go into load shedding. If the lights goes off, remain where you are. We are going to try to do the aarti with or without the sound. We will get the lights back on as quickly as possible. Are we ready to rise for aarti? Yes, please rise for aarti. We are going to do aarti Kunja Bihari. If the lights go off, continue waving and continue singing the aarti. Tusti, come to the up here. Only the main Yajmans will be doing Aarti. All of you put your hands together. They are doing it on your behalf. At the end of Aarti, kindly allow the Acharyajis and the priests to leave the hall first. Then only you will be directed by the officials. आरती कुंज बिहारी श्री हरे कृष्ण आरती कुंज बिहारी श्री हरे कृष्ण